Good morning, dear listeners. Today we start a new episode of the 7 Laws of Reality and No Age Ontology podcast series. And today we speak a little bit more about the principle of polarity. Especially we're going to find out how this principle is found in different traditions. So basically, the principle of polarity or opposites, or the law of opposites, states that the play of reality manifests always two sides. So there are two poles, and the difference between these two seemingly diametrically opposed poles is merely a matter of degree. So one-sided reality is not feasible. However, the source of reality is oneness, but this oneness does not exclude the polarity of its own manifestation. So this principle implies that all theses and antitheses are identical in nature, which is their source, but different in degree. And every truth is half false and half true. Everything is and isn't at the same time. So this principle is the universal principle of a reconciliation of opposites, because in the union of the two poles, or in the source of the two poles of pair opposites, there is to be found the thing in itself. So the essence of the thing in itself. So according to the law of opposites, everything attains completion by manifesting itself in the opposite direction to that from which it started. So, for example, in the spiritual and physical planes of reality, actually are different poles of the same thing. So there is the spiritual and the physical, and these are the play of the expanse of your being, which is oneness. So since all is in motion, all manifestation is in motion, and all motion is the appearance of energy at another point, wherever the new form reappears, the manifested energy is still the same, but at different degree of vibration. Even the expanse of mind and its manifestations are opposite poles of the same nature, varying only in degree. So on the physical plane, we can have the example of heat and cold being of the same nature in varying degree of temperature, where the lower end of the scale is called cold and the higher is called heat, with many degrees between these two. And again, one particular thing may be both good and bad at the same time. That is good for some purpose, bad for other purpose. And directions, if one starts traveling north at the same point, one will find itself traveling south, and vice versa. So the same principle applies to mental and emotional planes. Love and hate are generally regarded as being diametrically opposed emotions to each other, entirely different, irreconcilable, but in fact there is no such thing as absolute love or absolute hate, being merely terms applied to the two poles of the same thing, which is an emotional vibration. There is no absolute standard. All is a matter of degree. So one can love someone and hate someone else. So there is no absolutes. By working with the principle of polarity, one is able to sort of transform or polarize into any desired state, remembering always that the positive poles overcomes the negative pole due to the former being of a higher vibration, and also the tendency of nature to go in the direction of the dominant activity of the positive pole. But the change is not in the nature of transmutation of one thing into another thing entirely different. It's merely a change of degree in the same scale of vibration. Things which belong to the same class can be transmuted into each other, but things belonging to different class cannot be transmuted or changed. So it depends on the polarity. So emotions of different scales cannot be transmuted into one another because they must belong to the same scale. So for example, love can never become courage, or north or south, or hot or cold, but it may turn into hate. So it's on the same scale, different vibration, and changing the polarity. So same class but the different polarity. So strong hate may be transformed into love by changing its polarity, and fear may be transformed into courage, and hot may be rendered cold, and so on, always between things of the same kind but of different degree. So the transmutation is the degree of the vibrational energy, and the polarity can be changed. So even solid elements in alchemy, which are transmuted, this principle is also based on the principle of polarity and vibration. So this concludes the first introduction, and in the next podcast we will look more in depth regarding different tradition and the principle of polarity. Thank you for listening, and I will put the links to the books, The 7 Laws of Reality and Being and No Age Ontology book, in the comments.